Today we're practicing graphing equations or writing equations given a graph. So in each of these equations, they've helped you out by putting points on the line, and those points are the ones they want you to use to make a slope triangle. So I think the place I always start is finding the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is where does your line cross the y-axis? So I like to take my finger and go down the y-axis until I find the point where it crosses. So this first one starts at -2. So on the y-axis right here, it's telling us also right here, -2. So my y-intercept is -2, -2. And then for slope, again, slope is rise over run. So how much does it go up or down? Up if it's positive, down if it's negative. And then how much does it go right if it's positive or left if it's negative? So I need to make that slope triangle. So to do the slope triangle, you find 2 points on the line and make a vertical line and a horizontal line. So there's a point here and a point here. So my rise is going to be this vertical line, and I'm going to have to go down 1, 2, 3 spaces. So that's a -3. And my run is how many I go left or right, and I'm going to the right 1, so that's a +1. So the rise was in yellow, sorry. Rise was actually a -3 because I went down 3. Run was a +1 because I went to the right 1 and I went down 3. So my slope is -3 over 1, which is just -3. So now that I know that my slope is -3 and my y-intercept is -2, I can use this formula to fill in the blanks. M is the slope, B is the y-intercept, so y equals -3x minus 2, where -2 is my y-intercept and -3 was my slope. So for each of these problems, you're going to find where it crosses the y-axis, that's your y-intercept, or B, and then you're going to do the slope triangle and find the rise over run, and that's your slope. At the bottom, there is an example of slope-intercept form and point-slope form. So we most often, when we're graphing, use slope-intercept form because that's problems that start on the y-axis. But sometimes you're going to have a problem that doesn't start at the y-axis. And in that case, you want to use point-slope form if it starts at a point other than 0. So M is still your slope, same in both of them. Also, in both of these, M is attached to the x, right? This one is mx, which means m times x. This one is m times x minus something or plus something. So the m and the x are still attached. That's how you can identify if it's your slope. And then in slope-intercept form, it's just b, and that's the point that starts at 0, 0b. But in point-slope form, they're giving you y is whatever number they have in this y1 spot, that's your starting output. That's the y value in your point. And then whatever number this is, the opposite of it is the x value. So for point-slope form, you're going to have a point where this is the opposite of whatever is in the parentheses for x. And this is the actual plane number that's at the end of your equation, or sometimes it's at the beginning. So let's do an example of that one. This one tells us the slope and the point. So 2 is x1, that's your x value in the slope. 8 is y1, that's your x value in the equation. And 8 is your y value in the equation. So I'm going to write the formula, y equals slope times x opposite x value, actual y value. So I'm going to say, well, the y value was 8. The x value was 2. And the slope is also 2. So my equation is y equals 2 times x minus 2, because it's the opposite of 2, plus 8. That's my point-slope equation. They also want us to write it in slope-intercept form. And to do that, you're going to do some distributive property. And this is just like an extra challenge. To get this to be a more simplified version, we would do the distributive property. 2 times x gives me 2x, and 2 times negative 2 gives me negative 4. And then I finish the equation plus 8. And then I'm going to combine these like terms. Negative 4 plus 8 is positive 4. So y equals 2x plus 4. That's the slope-intercept form. So that means that at 0, this one starts at 4. Slope is 2. Y-intercept is 0, 4. And then where it says equation, you can put either one, but this problem was meant to be written in point-slope form since they gave you a point and the slope. So I'm going to write it in that form. So this second page is kind of just a challenge to help you practice writing equations, but I hope this is good practice that helps you make sense of slope-intercept form is a priority and point-slope is an extra.